Things I wanted to talk about today are first off, um, bar and bat mitzvahs. Obviously, you guys know that I am um, a big fan of them. I love photographing them. And the reason I love photographing them, first off, is because they are super easy and fun to do and easy to do. Lots of great, easy referrals. And just once you get dialed in with the community, you will basically have referrals forever. It's amazing. So, um, and they're just really easy compared to weddings. Like I know you've seen a bunch of my videos on the differences between the two. And I just feel like, yeah, they're just 10 times easier. And they're not seasonal, which is really nice because with weddings, you kind of have the off season of like winter and fall. Some people do weddings in the fall, but they're really more kind of in the summertime and whatnot. So that is a few reasons why I really love bar and bat mitzvahs. But let's get into these questions that I get kind of like most commonly in my business. So the first question, especially from like kind of newer photographers that they don't know, um, they just don't know what they don't know. So I often get asked about my gear, which the gear that I love to use, let me close this window. The gear that I love to use is in my business, the 2470, the 7200 are kind of my staples. And then I just got my 85 recently. Really excited to use that this weekend at my event and to play with that and get some really nice portraits for the client. And you can also use a 16 to 35, the fisheye. Those are all lenses that you can play with. But the majority of what I have used over the last good amount of years, 15, 20 years, has been the 2470 and the 70 to 200. So definitely love those lenses. And I've got the Canon R6 Mark II that I shoot on. I have two of those. So if anything was to ever happen, I would be covered. And I have both those have multiple SD card slots. So you're always covered if one card fails. So that's stuff to know. So let's get into these questions. Question number one is, should I offer packages or keep everything a la carte? So I kind of have a hybrid of both. I have packages that include certain things. I have kind of a small, medium, large packet. And then I also have a la carte, like things like albums and images and kind of add-ons is what I would like to call them for clients. So that's with event photography. So you can always make more later. I actually just got a print order this morning, and wasn't a huge one. I've gotten really huge ones before, but that is another way to get additional sales with your business is if you do print orders, which is really good. And there are just various ways to sell those. So I definitely recommend having both packages and a la carte, just for simplicity purposes also, and for just, keeping your life simple, like having to sell all these different things, it can be a pain. Now, if you're a portrait photographer, I could see why you would want to do a lot of a la carte stuff, because then you could really add everything up and sell that way. But for us, yeah, I like packages. And then you can even have packages for portrait sessions too. But I like it because it works for events. How do you know what to charge so you're profitable but not scaring people away? So this question came up, and it's like you kind of have to go where you're at, know where you're at. Like you got to have the confidence. A lot of things come from mindset. So if you don't have a great mindset, it's going to be really hard for you to move forward, just because you kind of are going to get stuck and you're going to have limiting beliefs. So that's why in my course, I have a whole mindset module of like how to work on your mindset so you can actually believe you are a professional that gets paid six figures that and step into that role. Because I know it can be hard in the beginning. You're just trying to get anything you want. And when you do the meditation practices and the things that I do, where you can start to see yourself as that six-figure photographer, I think that it'll behoove you, because honestly, like, your mind is so powerful. It really kind of creates your whole life. So, um, basically, I would charge a minimum. So um, let's say you're doing mini sessions. I would charge, like, I know in our area there are photographers that charge at least 350 to 500, and they get X amount of whatever they get for that session. So I would charge like a minimum of what the photographers in your area are charging. So if I was to do mini sessions again, which I wouldn't, but because I charge like at least $1,000 for a portrait session now, um, I might do 800 if they were like somebody that I really liked. But I think you kind of have to walk away with like at least $1,000 to like 3,000 per shoot. That should be your goal. Um, but you have to believe that you could charge that, right? So I would start with like, what are the other photographers in your area doing? And then kind of like make sure you're in alignment with them, and that you aren't undercharging, because truly people they'll basically like spend $100 to $200 on lunch. I mean, I went to dinner and it was like almost $400 the other day. It was really crazy. It was a celebration, but like, geez Louise. So you got to be profitable, right? And then scaring people away, that part is just kind of mindset. Like, I would just work on that. And again, I'll have my meditations and everything that I do here. So if you want to like learn more, you can. Um, how do I explain my pricing to clients without feeling awkward or salesy? So on I totally understand this particular question. It's like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't like talking about pricing because I feel like just I have limiting beliefs around it. But I know that in my mind, I want to get paid a certain amount. So, what I do on my sales calls is I first hear the client and what they need, if they have questions, like, and try and kind of come from service and building rapport. And then I always say, if they're really adamant about like, what do you charge? Then I say my packages start at like, I think they start at 3,700. So like the bare bones minimum is going to be that price, right? So I'll just say it starts that and goes up to like upwards of 10,000, but you don't need those things, right? So unless you do, I don't, it just depends on how they're talking to me. If I could tell they're having a big thing like shebang, well, then maybe I say that. So you kind of have to feel it out. And again, it comes back to your mindset. Like, if you're feeling awkwardsy or salesy, that's all in your head. And so you got to work on those kind of limiting beliefs. But what I do is, like, if they don't ask hard firm about the price, then I just say, I'm going to send you my packages in an email, and I'll go over everything that we talked about, so you don't have to remember it or like go back to your notes or write notes. It will all be in the email. So that's how I explain pricing and how I figure out how not to be awkward or salesy. I've never been that. So yeah, that's again mindset though, because I just don't believe in that stuff. I don't feel that stuff. So how do I get consistent leads without relying on luck or word of mouth? So there's a combination. Obviously, this is like a loaded question. I would say you have to like visualize and use your mindset and like see things happening for you. But then you also have to like take action, right? You can't just visualize and feel the feels all day long and not do anything. So for me, I relax and know that things are coming to me, and know that, people will reach out every single week. I know that when I photograph other like events every weekend almost, that I'm going to meet more people, and that people will like want to like work with me. So that's how I take action. And then there's also things like just checking in with people, saying hi, whatever, sending out emails, doing all the marketing things that I talk about in this channel. And then also obviously having my course. We have a whole tactical like implementation 90-day action plan that you can do to get business. But again, I think a lot of it comes from like the inside where you kind of have to believe that you can be that, right? That six-figure photographer. So that is how I get consistent leads. It's like a loaded question, but that's a simplistic answer to it. Let's see. What is the best way to use Instagram to book clients, not just get likes? So the funny thing is like I never really used Instagram or Facebook to build my business. I think what it does now is it's kind of reminds my old clients or clients, past clients, that I am here and I'm still working and busy by posting like my events and tagging vendors and getting in front of new people. That's kind of how I use Instagram is like if I do an event, I make sure I tag all the vendors. And then not only is that like promoting them and giving them one less thing to have to like do like for marketing purposes, on a daily basis, but it also kind of like it just promotes them and shows people that you're out there working and you're for hire. So I always post like almost, there's so many different avenues I do, but I try and post every week, like or more, the events that I've shot. There's so many. Sometimes I get like bogged down and it gets exhausting, but I do try to put up stuff on my stories because it could be quick and easy in the moment. But yeah, that's how I do it. And I just get people messaging me like I got one on Tuesday. And it was a referral from another photographer. I think I couldn't do it. Unfortunately, because I'm out of town that weekend, which is a bummer, but that is how I use Instagram. And just building those client relationships is kind of like how I get most of my business. So let's see. How do I book more of the right clients instead of bargain shoppers? Okay, this is a good question. So you got to go to the right places. So that's the quick answer. So I had another student or was maybe another inquiry or someone asked me they were saying they didn't think that they could charge whatever I charge in their area. And so I said to them, I'm like, well, there's got to be a place like a community that's like wealthier than where you currently live, So I feel like that, I don't know, like that mentality of like, they're not going to be like, there's nobody that's going to be there to basically make that, whatever. What am I trying to say? I'm sorry. Like to pay that rate that's fine. Cause that's maybe like in my city, like that's not, normal to pay that rate for what I charge, right? It's not normal, but I do go outside. I would say an hour up to an hour outside of where I live. And I work constantly like in Burlingame, San Francisco, Santa Rosa, not so much Napa, but I would say you have to just go outside and try and get to a richer area or like a more affluent area and book them there. So I would never like really kind of market to my neighborhood, really. Not like in a bad neighborhood, but it was definitely, it's not as wealthy as other neighborhoods in the area. So be open to driving an hour or so. And in the Bay Area, an hour is easily like normal for us between traffic and everything. So that's how I would say is like, just get into the right neighborhoods so you can get rid of the bargain shoppers. All right. What should I say in a consultation to get clients to book on the spot? This one, I don't know how I feel about it because I'm not one to try and book clients on the spot personally. I think that is like a different sales tactic than I prefer. I really like to conversate with my clients to see how I can serve them instead of forcing me down their throat, right? I don't think that like really is conducive to like my brand. So I would not try to book clients on the spot. I would try to just conversate with them, get to know them and see how you can serve them and be like kind of come from the giver's gain mentality and you will see success for sure. Hold on one second. Okay. How do you create a client experience that makes people refer me? Now, this is a very good question because this is like my forte. Um, Excellent customer service, excellent experience, and giver's gain. Like, take those things and you'll be good to go. I find that a lot of my referrals come from past clients because they've had such a great experience. So, what do I do? From start to finish, from my sales call, just serving and being the best that you can be, and coming from that giving mentality of like knowledge and just being the professional that serves them, because they're not going to know everything and they're going to always have questions. So from that beginning sales call down to like making it really easy and effortless and kind of flow for them. Like, I'm not a difficult person. I'm just like, sure, sure. Okay. No problem. We got that. As long as it's in the parameters. Otherwise, I'm like, well, that'll cost extra. Right. So you just kind of like really make it an easy experience for them, because we have so much stress in our life on a daily basis that nobody wants to like have vendors that are stressful too. Right. Um, and then once I get to the event, because I love it so much, I just end up like visibly having a great time. And so because of that, like they really like me, and I talk to people and conversate, make them feel special. And um I think all of those things just kind of make it really nice for them. And so they always want to refer their clients, like, or their friends, because if you are difficult and challenging and a pain in the butt, like, why would anyone want to refer you? Right. And then I leave them with a really great experience. Like, for example, I just closed out two today. So I'm mailing out their packages, and literally the last email I sent them over, I was like, just send me your address, and I'll get it over to you this week. And they're just like, you're such a doll, like, so great to work with. Thank you so much. Right. Like, just because it was just really easy. Like, it didn't require them to do a lot of work, because we have so much work as it is. I just keep it super simple. And then I think because of my mindset, I don't like a lot of stress and drama. Um, that's kind of what I get in my business, is like no stress or drama. So that's how I create a really great client experience. And I just care. um, how do I stay consistent instead of having feast or famine months? Kind of goes back to what I've been saying, all of it. You just have to work on your mindset. Like, you just have to believe that it's possible. And then you just have to take action, right? Do all the things that will get you more business. And we go over it in this channel. We go over it in my course, Photo Mitzvah Maven. Like, I tell you exactly what you have to do. Um, but I think the big part of it is like seeing yourself there first. And so if you can't see yourself there, I would suggest definitely checking out my meditations, and in those I go over everything I do and just kind of like help you kind of get your mind right, because you got to believe like it's possible. If you don't believe it's possible, it's never going to be possible. So that's how you get rid of those feast or famine months. Let's see. What systems do I need in place so I'm not drowning in editing? Yeah. Okay, so this is another reason why I absolutely love bar and bat mitzvahs, because it is truly 10 times better and easier than weddings. Like, weddings, you're going to spend so much time editing, because not only are you probably shooting like 1,000 photos, your second shooter is probably shooting that much too. So that's a lot of photos to go through. My editing process is I put them in Photo Mechanic first and I cull them down. But you can use these programs now, like Imagine is what I use, and there's another one. Shoot, I forget what it's called, but there's another one that photographers use, and I think I like Imagen. It really is easy, but it can cull for you. You have to pay for it, and then every image is like five cents, I think, per edit, and so basically, like, um I will pay like 15-20 bucks to have them go through the first round of editing, and then I will do the final touches. And so with mitzvahs, because it is such a different experience and day than weddings. If I'm shooting 1,000 photos, excuse me, if I'm shooting 1,000 photos, that means that this is a big event and there are plenty of vendors, and I'm trying to do a lot of details and like vendor photos because honestly, like it's just overwhelming to give that to the client. Like they need like 500 and under. Like they do not need that many photos. Like whereas bride and grooms, they love all that shit. For lack of better words. So the culling and the editing is like so much less, which is like hours and hours and hours back given back to you. So I'm shooting an event this weekend and it's a big one. It's kind of like I'm a little bit nervous about it. I have, a new photographer I'm working with, which I'm a little bit nervous about for that, but it's fine. And I think I'm probably going to overshoot a little bit, but I'm just going to only pick the stuff that I love. So I'm going to cull it down to like 300 to 400 maybe. And then I'm going to put it through Imagen and it's going to like charge me like 15 bucks. And then I will probably be able to get all of those edits done to the client by the end of the week. Easily I should get a sneak peek usually is Monday and then a sneak peek or a full edit by Friday. And then I'm done. Right. And then on to the next. It's like so easy. And I literally have like 3 to 4 days of doing whatever I want to do, which is why I'm working on my course and building this business out because I love helping and I don't know, it's kind of a little bit boring. So, and I like to be busy. So that is how I don't drown in edits. It's just the type of photography that you do. And it's just culling it down to a reasonable amount for the client. They don't need 1,000 photos. Like it's like too much. Like, I had another person I talked to, and they were like, I think they were giving it like so many. And I'm like, that's just too many photos. Like they don't need that. Like they really need like 200, 250. And I think that's good. So, but I usually give more just because like it's such an awesome day. But all right, let's see this. How do I scale without burnout? Do I need a team or just better workflows? Honestly, I've been a solopreneur for years. And I just recently got some VAs to help with me to do like admin stuff that I don't like. So you don't really need a team. I don't think so. I mean, you can have VAs, you can do that stuff, but I do like what are my marketing things? I do my social media, which they do a lot of the kind of like big majority of like the reels and stuff, they do that. And then I have for my YouTube channel VAs that work with me and help me with the editing. And then I have my newsletter that I do once a month. And I think that's it. And I just have to balance like my inquiries and reaching out to people and stuff, but it's not hard. So you could do it all easily. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in learning about Photo Mitzvah Maven, the course will be in the descriptions link box down below if you want to learn more. If you are not there yet and you want to work on like your mindset and get your kind of head right, I would say check out my meditations because my meditations are really great and they've completely changed my life. I think that they're like gold. So if you just were to work on that and do that for like a couple months, I swear your whole life would change. So those will all be in the descriptions box below. And if you have any other questions, reach out. But I'm going to try and do this every single week and just go over questions that people have that they're struggling with. So if you have any questions or things that you want to know, just comment down below and I can get to them. But I hope you enjoyed. I think I did this right. We'll see as it ends. But that is it. Thanks for hanging. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.